How's it going, Ayo? In this video we're going to talk about Ariana Grande addressing her fans bullying her, Kris Jenner's epic selfie fail, and US Senator Mitch McConnell freezing once again. Alright, so this is really sad. Ariana Grande has admitted that consistent fan bullying is what ultimately led her to change the cover art for her debut album Yours Truly. In celebration of her record's 10-year release, she was answering a few fan questions related to the album on TikTok, and one of the questions someone asked was what made her change the original cover art to the new released one. She was holding a printout of the album's original imagery to the camera, and the photo showed her wearing a baby pink dress while seated on the top of a pile of pink flowers. The words Yours Truly Ariana Grande were printed out in cursive above an all pink background. In response to the question, she said, "Well, it's horrible. It's not horrible, but you were right. You guys got really angry when you saw it. I was very sad about that and I changed it." She went on to say that fans are not always right and their bullying has been consistent for the past 10 years. Apparently they told her that they hated the album cover and that it was ugly, which is why she finally decided to change it. Ariana said that sometimes that works and sometimes it leaves her with wounds that make her question everything she's done. The album was eventually released featuring a black and white image of Ariana with her eyes closed and her face angled up towards the left corner. It looks great now, but it is a little sad that she felt the need to change her album cover because of all that criticism. And it's definitely not the first time that she's called out all the unnecessary hate that she gets. In April, she hit back at people who were body shaming her for her appearance when new photos of her surfaced online. For her role as Glinda in the Wicked movie, she dyed her trademark brown hair a honey blonde, along with her eyebrows too. But that wasn't the only difference that people were looking at. In these new photos of Ariana, she also looked noticeably thinner, and that sparked a wave of health concerns across social media. Of course, this was just another way for people to criticize her under the guise of being worried about her weight. They wrote things like, "Get well soon," and "Why does she look sick?" Some people even speculated that she'd had some kind of cosmetic procedure done, like buccal fat removal, or she'd been taking medications like Ozempic, which we know is really popular with celebrities right now. But the fact is, Ariana has been noticing all of these unsolicited comments about her body. She's actually read a lot of them and it really affected her mental health. That's why she chose to come on TikTok and address the ridiculous criticism that she was getting about her body. She explained that there are many different ways to look healthy and beautiful, and that the body people are comparing her current body to was the unhealthiest version of her. Quote, "I was on a lot of antidepressants and drinking on them and eating poorly, and at the lowest point of my life when I looked the way you consider my health. But that in fact wasn't my health." While Ariana acknowledges that she shouldn't have to address her health issues, she thinks that something good might come from being open and vulnerable about it. She said, "The second thing is you never know what someone is going through. So even if you're coming from a loving place or a caring place, that person probably is working on it or has a support system that they're working on it with. You never know, so be gentle with each other and yourselves." She asserts that everyone should be gentler and less comfortable commenting on other people's bodies, no matter what. Because even if you think you're saying something good or well-intentioned, it's just not a good idea. And we should all be working towards not doing that as much. Also, if you are going to do it, there are ways to compliment someone or to ignore something if you just don't like it. So you should really be thinking about the person you're criticizing before you say the first thing that pops into your head. At the end of the video, Ariana has some kind words for her fans. She said, "Sending you guys a lot of love. I think you're beautiful no matter what you're going through, no matter what you weigh, no matter how you like to do your makeup these days, no matter what cosmetic procedures you've had done. I just think you're beautiful and I wanted to share some feelings." The response to her video was overwhelmingly positive, with fans flooding her comment section with messages of support and praise for speaking up. Many of them pointed out that this would have never happened if Ariana was a guy, because so much of this body shaming is also tied to sexism and double standards for women in the industry. Now let's talk about Kris Jenner's massive selfie fail. She's now come under fire over a very specific age-defying filter that she put on a new selfie and a video that her makeup artist posted on Instagram. And this is not just a little airbrushing we're talking about here. No, this filter actually looks like AI. Because you can probably guess, there is no way Kris Jenner looks like that at 67. Her makeup artist Sama Kazami took to Instagram to post a video of her with a new glam look. But it wasn't long before people accused the two of them of extensive amounts of Photoshop and criticized them for trying to make Kris look very much younger. One person commented, "What the hell is happening? That's not her face." Another person wrote, "Please post an unfiltered photo so we can see her true beauty. Being a master makeup artist, this just gives clients the wrong illusion, and this is things that they expect instead of seeing pores, which are totally normal." Not only that, but the actual account on Facetune commented and they wrote, "This is a great time to tell everyone we have Facetune for videos." While this was an extreme example of Kris editing her appearance, it's far from the first time she's been criticized for doing so. Back in 2014, she met Gordon Ramsay when she was promoting her cookbook, and the two of them both posted photos of the interaction online. But these photos were shockingly different. In the version that Kris posted, the two of them are heavily photoshopped and she has noticeably smoother skin. But in the version that Gordon Ramsay posted, it's a little more realistic. Of course, Kris is far from the only celebrity to use filters, and everyone's entitled to post whatever they feel comfortable sharing online. Not to mention that the Kardashians are no strangers to editing controversies. Over the course of the past few years, they've been called out multiple times for allegedly airbrushing their content. Most people remember Khloe Kardashian's bikini photo scandal, when an unedited photo of her in a leopard print bikini went viral. Of course, Khloe freaked out because that picture was actually posted by mistake. It was said that her crisis management team desperately tried to remove it from the internet, and they even sent out legal threats to people who were circulating it. The Kardashians' chief marketing officer then released a statement claiming that the photo was taken of Khloe during a private family gathering, and it was an assistant who posted it to social media by mistake. It was a very controversial moment for the reality star, and fans were divided over how they felt about it. Some of them accused her of setting a bad example for women by trying to get the picture removed. Others complimented her beauty and said that they loved the photo even if she didn't mean to post it. Unfortunately, trying to hide the photo from public view only ended up encouraging more people to seek it out. The irony is that it was actually a very nice photo of her smiling beside a poolside. In fact, she looked great, but of course some people used it as just another opportunity to try and bash her appearance. The whole thing was very upsetting because if you think about it, she's probably spent her entire life having to hear unsolicited opinions about her body, and out of all of her sisters, she's probably had it the worst. Khloe once opened up about her insecurities with a lengthy Instagram post in 2021. She wrote, "As someone who's struggled with body image her whole life, when someone takes a photo of you that isn't flattering, in bad lighting, or doesn't capture your body the way it is after working so hard to get it to this point, and then shares it to the world, you should have every right to ask for it not to be shared, regardless of who you are." She explained that she has felt pressure over the years to live up to perceptions of her, and revealed some of the cruel comments that she's received from critics. One of these criticisms was the long-running conspiracy theory that Robert Kardashian must not be her real father because she looks so different from her sisters. So these insecurities that she had were not just internal. Khloe was actually being treated differently to Kim and Kourtney. When she used to do photo shoots with her sisters, she said that they would receive racks and racks of clothing, where she would only be given 2 to 3 items to wear. Not only that, but the stylist would also put her in the background. And that might not seem like a really big deal, but in reality, being constantly compared to her sisters would have had a massive effect on her self-esteem. And the internet is not a very nice place either, so it's no wonder that she feels like she has to use things like Photoshop and filters. Obviously, she's not setting the best example for young fans, but we also know that she has a pretty solid reason for doing it. Now, have you seen what happened with the US senator who froze? Because it all happened again. Senator Mitch McConnell froze once again mid-sentence while he was addressing the media, which, as we know, is the second frightening episode like this that he suffered in public. The Kentucky legislator was talking to reporters on Wednesday in Covington when it happened. He was addressing a Chamber of Commerce matter, and he was seemingly doing fine. That is, until he wasn't. When a reporter asked him about running for re-election, he took a long pause. And I mean a long pause. And just like he did a month ago on Capitol Hill, he stood there quietly and looked like he was zoning out. Eventually, one of his aides stepped in and asked if he heard the question, but he didn't even respond to her, and he just kept staring out into space and remaining frozen. The aide then asked the media for a moment of privacy, and that's when the video cuts out. Obviously, this is deja vu, and many people suspect he might have experienced a medical episode, although the first incident was never officially described as such by his team. Now, there are almost certainly going to be even more questions and scrutiny over his health. This most likely goes back to the moment that the senator suffered a nasty fall earlier this year that landed him in hospital. In March, he got a concussion and a broken rib after falling and hitting his head after a dinner event at a hotel. He didn't return to the Senate for almost 6 weeks. He's since been using a wheelchair in the airport while commuting back and forth to Kentucky. Since then, he's appeared to walk more slowly, and his speech has also sounded a lot slower too. Aside from that fall in March, he also tripped and fell 4 years ago at his home in Kentucky, causing a shoulder fracture that requires surgery. His spokesperson talked about the most recent episode and said, "Leader McConnell felt momentarily lightheaded, and that's why he paused." Another one of his aides also insisted that he feels fine now and he will be consulting with a physician prior to his next event. The moment went mega viral, and it brought about questions surrounding the retirement age of certain politicians. Many have been calling for the 81-year-old senator to finally retire, given that he is very clearly having difficulty with the job if he cannot get through a press conference without freezing. The oldest member of Congress is 90-year-old Democratic Senator Dianne Feinstein, who missed months of work in Washington earlier this year when she was hospitalized for the shingles virus and its side effects. Since her return to work in May, she's traveled the Capitol halls in a wheelchair and has often appeared confused and disorientated. The median age for US senators Sanders is 65.3 years, and it's been trending upward in recent years. A new poll for public affairs research released this week found that 70% of Americans believe that President Joe Biden is too old to effectively serve a second term in office, despite his insistence that he is in good health. On Wednesday, Biden called Mitch McConnell a good friend and said that he would try to get in touch with him later in the afternoon. Biden and McConnell sat together in the Senate for 23 years after he was elected in 1984. McConnell is now the longest-serving party leader in Senate history, having become the minority leader in 2007. But with the health of aging politicians increasingly at issue in Washington, his health is now firmly in the spotlight. So what do you guys think about this issue? Should there be age limits for presidential and congressional candidates? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll catch you in the next video.